I went to a client's office yesterday to work on their internet down problem. I've told you about this client before, and a couple weeks ago, I went out and fixed fix it so it was working. And then when the bookkeeper came back in, she only comes in about once a week. She called and said it's not working. So I went out there right away.
DougBot said I'm working here.
And did not find the solution to that. I'm going to check on that speaker button, see if it actually came through. Yeah, you did hear it, right? Oh, come on, come on, come on. There it is. Okay. So now there's pictures of this in the description of today's video, a link that you can go to browse through the pictures, and I'll be talking through the pictures. And the solution to this was interesting. I don't think it was on my mind as I was approaching out there. When I went out yesterday, I took out a new computer, one of these B-Link computers, and I was going to use my portable monitor. And I was pretty sure that the problem was the computer at the front desk, because the computer at the back desk reportedly was working fine on the internet, maybe with a glitch once in a while. But he said mostly it was fine. But the front desk computer it wouldn't do anything that the bookkeeper needed it to do. So I set up this B-Link computer on my portable monitor, and it's having the same symptoms. So we got to get into the pictures to describe the symptoms because they're weird. Now I say that it's fixed, and that's because I've got it stable now on both computers, but there's still questions remaining about what's going on here. I'm going to bring up the pictures and we'll get into it, and we'll come back to chat in a little bit after we get this ball rolling here. So if you click that link in the description, that's going to take you to, I think, exactly this screen that I'm showing right now. And then if you are browsing through these pictures and you see one that you want me to answer some questions about, you can identify it with the picture number up in the upper left corner. Then I'm going to press the F11 key to make this take up the whole screen. Now this has an IP address 192.168.1.14. That's a static IP address that I assigned to this computer last time I was there, because by assigning the static IP address, that was part of the solution to get it to function. Right arrow key to go to the next one. Here we show it's a manual IP address, and you see the static address here, and then the DNS assignments. And go to the next screen. Now here I do a ping google.com to see if I can ping Google while it has these static addresses. And I got a reply at the beginning here, and it's going through the IPv6 to get a reply there, but then it times out on the second through the fourth request. So that's not looking good. And then let's get to the next one. Here, ping 8.8.8.8, timed out 4 times. So it's not even able to get to DNS. Right arrow key, look down here in the bottom right. Now, the first time around, there was something about this picture that I did not notice. And I was just looking here for the network access icon. Let's see if anybody comes up with chat about what I didn't notice here. Right arrow key. And then I try pinging 192.168.1.1, see if it can even ping the router. No. No dice. Yes, Ken Stout, the update icon. And Zavi Minor, restart. Yeah. And for those who didn't catch that, this yellow dot right here indicates the computer needs to be restarted to install updates. And all kinds of symptoms can happen by virtue of that. That was not entirely responsible for what was going on here, but absolutely, I should have caught that and done that. All right, Ken. See, he wants points. He wants points. So Ken points to Ken and Zavi, right? Answering the question right. Let's see how quickly I can get back to it. F11 to get back to here, come over here, and then chat, then pop out chat. You know what? I could have done this straight in OBS. Couldn't I have? So was Ken actually first on that? Yikes. What is the world coming to? Okay, we'll throw 500 on that. And I got to start with Menor. I got to type it as Menor rather than Zvi because what YouTube is doing to me with what it's doing different in chat. Okay, so then is that a separated? I'm not sure if I got what I'm doing over there. Let me see. Nope, I don't want to use those photos. I want to use the ones on the website. Okay. So get back to where we were at after I was so rudely interrupted. Okay, so the 8.8 won't ping. Now here's the setup. I've got my portable monitor here. There's the B-Link computer off to the right side of my portable monitor. My wireless keyboard and mouse. Here's the reception or the front desk computer. It's not really reception. There's a network switch here. But that almost looks like another old router or something. I don't know what that was. Now, as I go through these pictures, I'll let you know that I spent some time this morning sanitizing them. This picture has a whole lot of stuff removed. There's a whole bunch of yellow Post-it notes hanging off the bottom of this monitor that you see is kind of blurry there. There's lots of other things around here where I blurred things out. So if you see some weird stuff that makes you think that it's AI generated photo, no, it's not. It's just AI cleaned up photo. So that's the setup here. Is there anything else I need to make comment about on this one? At this point in time, you can see this Ethernet cable that I have strung out directly from that switch. Now this office with two computers, get this, two computers, two routers, and two network switches, and tons and tons of Ethernet cable. Ay, caramba. Oy vey. Ah, bendito. Oh, come on. I'm hitting. I don't know what's going on here. Is it getting sluggish on me? I wasn't getting response, and then it went somewhere I didn't want it to go. This is a secondary router, Nighthawk, and it is in the same building as that computer that I showed you. I don't think I ever took a picture of the back office computer. Next picture, information about the Nighthawk, and this is corrupted here, AI corrupted. Those are not true network names and network keys. And just to show you what this one is, and then here I've got my laptop set up on this desk. This is a back office desk, but this desk does not have a computer. Just showing you the setup here. So I've got an Ethernet directly connected to my laptop. And how does this perform? Can I get good internet performance here? You can see the icon on my screen right there. It shows that it is connected to a network. Doesn't necessarily mean the internet, although when I float my mouse over that, it does pop up. It says internet access. Yet when I try to ping 8.8, it times out. And notice the IP address 10.0.0.10. So far we've seen 192.168.1. We've seen 10.0.0. So far. What am I hinting at? Then, here, floating a mouse over the icon says internet access. And then when I try, let's see, here's my IP config, and then I try to ping the 10.0.0.1, and that works. I can ping the router here. I think this is the same screen, just closer. Why was I doing this? I don't know. And then I tried to
Read chat,
log
please.
in to that router. Seldom Ball says maybe the local router was giving out inappropriate addresses to its DHCP clients. Local router meaning this secondary router, this Netgear that I'm showing. Yeah, that's part of it. Let's see. Now let me try this. Seldom Ball using OBS and see if this works to throw him some points. Yeah, I don't know if that will work from here. Doesn't look like it is. I think I have to do it in the YouTube window for my Stream Deck. Oh, that gets me, that's a decent way to do it. Okay, there. Getting better at this all the time. Oh, but why did it do that? All right, hammer on forward. Where was I? Here, I think. Oh, did I click on that left arrow? No, that would just go back to the prior picture. This is picture 2177. There, I just clicked in the blank area and it went back to this screen. That I don't understand. So I got to not click out here.
Read chat, please.
What if I click over here? Does that make it go back? Zavi Minor asks, it is secondary router or it was to be access point. What their original intention was for that, I don't know. Because the person who originally set this up is not available to me. Oh, access point. Yes. That would have been because the building that has the Comcast router is a long distance away with a very long Ethernet run going to the other building. So yeah, access point, that makes a whole lot of sense. It might not have been intended to function as a router, meaning they could have just taken the Ethernet from the Comcast, from a LAN port on the Comcast and plugged it into one of the switch ports on this secondary router,
Read
and
chat,
that would have
please.
been broadcast out to the Wi-Fi. How long of a run of Ethernet? Maybe 200 feet. Kind of guesstimating. How are the two routers connected to each other, if at all? We're going to be getting into that because I made some changes. Changes are afoot. That was weird. Oh. Now, don't click out here, Doug. That'll get you messed up. Use Alt-Tab to get back to the picture. Yeah. Okay, let's try this. And what am I showing here? Now, these pictures are not highly curated to tell a story. I eliminated a bunch that I didn't want to show because they were too revealing, and I had some blurring to do, and I just didn't have time to try to put them into a good storyline. So here, let's see, we got ping replies from 10.0.0.1. I think I already showed that. Yeah, this is the closer one. And here I'm trying to log into that router. To log into that local router that's on this desk right here, this is supposed to get to it. It says, can't reach this page. And then I try getting to it with 10.0.0.1. It asks for username and password. I try some standard username and passwords. They don't work. And then I try to reset the password and I enter the serial number, and I'm not showing that to you. And then it asks a couple security questions. I don't know who set this up. I haven't even tried to ask around for that because at this point in time, I'm not highly interested in this. I'm thinking the issue is a different direction. I turned out to be right. So then here's a Ethernet cable plugged into the internet port on this device. Now, it only occurred to me this morning, I think when this was plugged in, I think the internet light on this router wasn't even on. And if somebody goes back and looks in the pictures, it's not real reliable because the way the lights flicker. And I tried to capture some pictures of the lights earlier. See, I think that one right there is the internet connection. But anyway, that's not too critical of a point right now because I know more than you know right now. Now then here, I looked at this, oh, what is going on here? Now the two inner pair are supposed to be blue and blue stripe. Could be. And then the next outer of that is usually green and green stripe. And then the leftmost two would be, I think it's the brown, then the rightmost two would be orange, please, or other way around. This does not look quite right. Yes, I'm aware there are two wiring standards, but this looks like it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires, which I think there is a way that can be done, but it's not common. That read chat was bad cable, missing orange pair. Yeah, now about that, there's a little piece of orange right here. And back down here, there's a little piece of orange. It almost looks like the orange could be going like underneath
Read chat, please.
Shelf of plastic. I don't know how that could happen, but this looks totally weird. Savi Manor says they changed ISP that put a new router that configured 192.168 and the access point was forgotten. I don't think so. I don't think so, but that's a good speculation. Now, I don't think so. Now, from what you see at this point, reasonable thing to say. Here I have, oh, that wire that I just showed pulling out of the internet port, I'm plugging it into my laptop because I'm assuming that wire is coming from the Comcast router that's in the other building. So I want to see what happens when I connect it to my laptop. And you can see I have it connected and my icon is showing that there is network connection. And I got assigned a 10.0.0.10 address, and I tried to ping 8.8 and times out. Here's the other building where the router is. This router is all the way at the opposite side of this building as the building that we were just in. So they couldn't put the router further away from the office building. They could have put it a lot closer if they would have put it on the other side of this building. I'm going to say this building is 50, 60 feet long. Pretty big. I think it felt bigger to me than it is. This part that you're seeing in this picture is about 1/4 of the space of this building. And the guy told me, yeah, we can go over there, but I got to tell you, the router's up high. So it's way up here on this shelf. And you can see these wires, these two wires running off this direction. Those wires are the Ethernet cables going to the office building. And then this is the path that I walk through to get to it. Let's come back here. See those mud flaps right there? Yeah. So to get to it, I'm walking through here and then make a left at the ice box. I don't know what that thing. Oh, that's got to be some kind of toolbox for a truck. And then there's the router plugged into electrical over here. There's no wall switch for that electrical, but I'm figuring at that point there's a circuit breaker somewhere that I can use to turn the router off without having to climb up there. And then this is looking the other direction in the building. There's the circuit breakers. And this was not from the same point. So it's not like I just stayed in one place and turned the other way. I walked to the other side of the building. Then here's those Ethernet cables up at the top. And they run down this pipe and they run out this direction. So this is just to give you a little bit of a kind of a feel like you were there kind of sensation. Greg M says, I would put a cable tester on that. Circuit breakers, don't need to make any comments about that. So now here's a cable, Ethernet cable. I'm connected directly to that Comcast router. And I get an auto-generated IP address, 172.168.0.4, I think it is. Now, in the past, I've seen this screen actually use the term auto IP address, and I'm not seeing that here. So that kind of took me a little by surprise. I don't know if they stopped doing that, but I'm pretty sure that's an IP address that a computer will assign to itself when it doesn't find a DHCP. Maybe somebody else knows more about that. So directly connected to the Comcast router.
Read chat,
not
please.
Working. Rand says that's not generated. That's private class B. All right. How did I get that? Yeah, I'm not surprised at that at all because, hey, I didn't think that's quite the IP range that auto-generate does. I don't remember what it is, but it didn't seem quite right. Scott, I did not break a leg in the room. Okay, next picture.
Read chat, please.
You're confusing with 169.25. That's it. That's it. 169.254. I recognize that once you said that, Rand. So that's the IP address I got. Can't ping 8.8. So I'm connected to that Comcast router. How am I getting that address? Then what? Reply from, oh, here I'm getting replies. Okay, so I can ping the router that's at that address, 172.168.16.0.1. Is anybody keeping track of how many subnets we've had so far? That's the same picture, just closer. Then I try to log into that one and I get a username and password prompt. I don't think I put much effort into that. So here I'm up on a ladder taking pictures of the Comcast router. Now there's some, I messed with the photo here, so you're not actually seeing serial numbers and passwords and so on. And the back side of it. So here we have two Ethernet, those two Ethernet cables that are running to the front office. And then we have this black Ethernet that I'm connected to on my laptop. Here I've just got a variety of pictures. This picture was after I power cycled it. So it's just coming back on. That's why there's only a power light. It's a Comcast business router. And then after restarting it, my laptop picked up a 10.0.0.4 address. And I can ping 10.0.0.1. But I cannot ping 8.8.8.8. Now at this point, do you think that secondary router is not the source of the problem because of what you've seen so far? And let's go bring up chat. Spend a little bit of time here and say hello. I'm going to start out with participants, so I get each name once and say hello to people. So if you're not in this list right now, all you got to do is put anything into chat and you'll pop up in this list. So hello, Chevy and Greg, John Williams, hello, Ken Stout, good to see you. Mr. Book, that's Darren Gilholm. Parker Morse, hello. Phil Stodd, Rand Israel. Scott Selden Ball. Tim Awadis. And I think, oh, that's right. These are popping in alphabetical. So I can't, as you don't pop in at the bottom. Alice Jones, hello. Arnold. Chevy Doman. Greg M. already, and John Williams. Zvi Menor. Phil Stodd. Rick Lakes, hello. Scott. Now, see, somebody just dropped off. That would indicate that it's been 5 minutes since their last chat message. The participant shows people who have had a chat message within the last 5 minutes. And for every minute that you're on this list, you are earning 50 points. Come up here and see if there's any hits in red. Am I typing my name wrong? Maybe there just aren't any. Scrolled. Oh, it's LWTDB. That's why. At LWTDB. Spell the letter B correctly, Doug. John Williams says hello with that. And I got a couple ad points that I did, 3 ad points that I did. Okay, very good. Got that. I think I'm all caught up on the read chat, please. So let's go down to the bottom and see what most recent is. In each test, did you connect via cable to the tested router, or did you use Wi-Fi at any point? I actually did not use Wi-Fi at any point. It was on my mind a couple of times, but I wasn't very attracted to it. It as what is that? If I can get Wi-Fi and ping 8.8 or have internet access, what is that going to tell me? I just didn't feel very attracted to it. And I had plenty of options on hand, so I did not. How many wireless networks does this place have? Well, the Comcast router has its Wi-Fi capability. I didn't even check to see if it was active. I think I did notice that it was active because it has that CBCI name. And the
Read
office
chat, please.
has its own Wi-Fi. Hello, Edward Bass. You said read chat, please, at the same time. Oh, at the same time as SpeakerBot, maybe? Jim in DVR mode. Ran, that means the routers don't interfere with each other, just may be misconfigured. Meaning, was that related? Yeah, that related to Wi-Fi. Okay. I'll have to spend a little bit of time to think that through. I don't quite follow that. That means the routers don't interfere with each other. If I use Wi-Fi at any point, these routers are so far from each other, and they're different Wi-Fi SSIDs. Yeah, so I don't quite follow what you're after there. It seems it has multiple DHCP sources active. Yes. And I've told you about this client before. And I've told you about, it seems like they have multiple DHCP sources. Now that's the remaining question, because they're still, where are they? And I still don't know that. Chevy, hey Doug, remember install error, Windows update failed, cumulative version. You said just wait, LOL, message is gone. Yes. Chevy gave me, I think it's in a video comment. I think it was last week. He was reporting, I think it was in chat, that updates failed for the October cumulative update. I said, just wait. And he says that worked for him. Thank you for letting us know, Chevy. And I think that's worth some points. Bringing it home with a results story and having brought the issue to our attention in the first place. Okay, now back to the features. Where am I at? Okay.
Red chat, please.
I'm connected now with the Ethernet cable, and I'm getting a 10.0.0.1. Scott says, let's, as I'll show that here, it's easy to do. And zoom in. Surprised nobody got on me
Read
about
chat,
that.
please.
Can you connect to one router and then start turning them back on one at a time? Should have one router assigning IP numbers. Yeah, that's one approach. I think I've got another approach, a little different than that I'm about to show in pictures. Each router may be a DHCP source, yes. I suspect 172.16 is handled by the cable provider. Oh, interesting. That could be. So, but with my computer connecting to a LAN port, it doesn't seem likely that the only way that it should be able to pick up an address from the ISP is if this Comcast router is configured as a pass-through. Is that the right word? So that addresses would be picked up actually from the ISP, but then you usually use static IP addresses rather than DHCP. The router, the Comcast router, or if you're using your own router with Comcast, those I believe are typically set up so that they pick up a dynamic address from the ISP, which like if my computer was capable of connecting directly to the Comcast cable, that could make sense. Can a Comcast router be reconfigured such that a computer on the
Read chat,
LAN would pick
please.
up an IP address? I don't know. That seems hard to believe. Each router may be a DHCP source. Okay, got that
Read
one.
chat, please.
Comcast usually assigns 10.0.0.1. That's not my observation. My observation is Comcast usually defaults to 10.1.10.x. I don't recognize that 10.0.0.1 is a usual default for Comcast. I very consistently observe it as 10.1.10.1 for the router. Rand says, I saw a tail light on that device. Are you sure it's not a modem in bridge mode? Oh, telephone light. They do have IP telephones, and Comcast does provide that. So I'm suspecting that their phones may be going through that device, and that's why you're seeing the telephone light. I think we're going to get back to another picture of that, and we'll look at that. Bridge mode is what I was thinking. Yeah, I said pass through, and no, that wasn't the right word. Bridge mode is the right word. Okay. Next picture. Trying to sign into that. Now this router, this Comcast router on its label has the word Technicolor. And I thought, I don't know if I've ever noticed that before on a Comcast router, Technicolor. So I went and looked for, I searched for Comcast Business Technicolor. You can see it in the previous tab up there. For default username and passwords, and the specific model number of this router is not in this list. I did not go through trying all of these because, again, I had on my mind that I think there's something else going on here, and we're going to get to that. Now I've removed those two Ethernet lines that go to the front office. So now the only device connected is my laptop. Do you want to speculate what's going to happen now? I'm going to give you a little time to speculate and be able to put into chat what you think is going to happen when only my laptop is connected. Tim says it's going to work. All right. Seldom ball. Now it'll work. Did I kind of give a clue by the way I worded that? Anybody else going to speak up? Am I still going to have the same problem? Zavima Noor says no internet.
Read chat, please.
What's connected to the WAN port? The Comcast has a coax cable connected to it to bring the internet in. There is no WAN port like there would be on that secondary router. Am I misunderstanding your question? Yeah, the coax is the WAN port. So you can't mistake that. Okay, let's get back on it. Right arrow, next photo. And remember, I said that there's a link in the description to all these photos. If there's something that you want to go back and have a closer look at, you'd be able to do it that way. Let's do something here. Where? Okay, talk amongst yourselves for a little bit. I gotta go do something. Let's do. The slow way. Almost. Let's see. Okay. And there you see the actual cable connected to the router. And let's see here, I'm showing there's 4 ports, and I'm only connected with my laptop at this point. And then here I'm looking at those 2 Ethernet cables. And again, we got this strange thing going on with the wires. Now, later after these photos, I had a conversation with the one employee that was at the location. And when I commented about that, these are not normal Ethernet cables, and he filled me in. What happened is the previous owner of the business, that's why I'm no longer, I don't have access to the person who set this up, did all this as DIY, do it yourself. Ran the wires himself and put the connectors on. And so here's one of those situations. Carrie and I had a conversation about this on the show Thursday a little bit. My approach with him was, okay, well, sometimes I do some do-it-yourself things, and sometimes I screw it up and winds up costing me more to get it fixed by a professional. That's probably what we got going on here a little bit, is at these odd wires, and I don't think they're actually. Yeah, I looked at the sheath trying to find a cat number and did not find it. So I don't quite know what wires these are and how well they're made, going from one building to the other, passing through significant distance between the buildings, and you're going to see a little bit about that. Yeah, so that's the source of the wires. It wasn't about ISP putting a different service in. It was DIY. And I told him, look, I don't mind somebody doing DIY stuff. There's some things that you can pull off doing yourself, but maybe not this one. And I do it-yourself things myself, and sometimes it bites me. I was trying to get a better shot of those, so I tried a few times. So here my laptop is getting an IP address 10.1.10.103 with a default gateway 10.1.10.1, which is what I was describing is what I usually expect to see on a Comcast router. I do not normally see that 10.0.0.x. I don't know why. I don't know where that comes from. And then next picture. Here I'm pinging 8.8.8 and it works. So the lesson from that is once I disconnect those other two cables, the Comcast router works fine. Here I'm showing those two Ethernet cables, and I got a few pictures of them. It goes along, this is way up high on that wall where the router is, goes around the corner. Oh, these pictures are going backwards to the router. Yeah, looks like at the moment I have, oh yeah. I was skipping over something in my mind. Right now I only have one of those Ethernet cables plugged in. And then I go back to my laptop and see what happens. And I am pinging the 8.8 successfully. Then I come back up to the router and put the other Ethernet cable in. And then I'm getting reply from 8.8.8. And I thought, I was thinking for sure this is going to mess up. I figured one of those two cables is causing a problem. And then I try
Read
again.
chat, please.
I try again and it fails with that one Ethernet cable connected. Jim says, it wasn't until a few years down the road that I found out I had screwed up a few LAN cables. I bought a tester several years ago after, and it showed me my ass. Okay. Thank you for that. Jim, that is just, that's real world. Tell us your experience, and I'm voluntarily telling us about a screw up. I'm going to do that a second time. That's just awesome that you would tell us about that. Thank you. And come back here. So after a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a wait, it now messes up. So after that second Ethernet cable is connected, for a while, it seems to be interfering. And there's that orange light rather than a green light. And I'm suspecting that just means that whatever's downstream from that is running at 100 megabits, which one of their switches is a 100 megabit switch. Then I go to the circuit breaker and I just want to figure out which circuit breaker turns that off, and it turns out to be this one on the bottom left. So I was just documenting that for myself. And this picture is zoomed in, taken from the position of the circuit breaker box. And it's turned back on. The thing is restarting. Nothing particular there. Oh, here's where I start showing the path of those two cables. You can see the two Ethernet cables going through there. There's some other kind of cable there too. I didn't pay attention to what that was. And they run along this pipe, twist tied or zip tied to it, I think. Goes along further. And here it comes to the circuit breaker. It comes down this pipe, and then it goes out to the right. It's going back behind this metal structure. I never even tried to figure out what that is. Might be a paint booth. Yeah, that's what it might be, a paint booth. The lines go connected to that pipe and then down this wall, down this direction, and I couldn't make out what was going on down at the bottom. So then I go outside the building, and here's the outer wall of that building that I was just pointing to, the inner wall of it. So I don't have any hope of getting up there in this bush and figure out what's going on. That's okay. I didn't think I needed to, because I just turn over here to the right a little bit. The only thing I find coming away from the building is this metal conduit. So follow it down. Now we're behind the camera right now is the building that we were just in. This conduit is going down to the wall, and off to the right is the office building that we started out in. Scott says fire hazard too, DIY wiring. I guess he's referring to the bushes. And then come out this direction, and it comes to a junction box here. And there's actually,
Read chat, please.
appears to be 4 wires going down this tube and 4 wires going off the tube to the left. And I thought maybe it's just extra length that's stuffed down there. So I tried pulling a little bit to see if I could confirm that, and it didn't pull easily, so I didn't go any further with that. At last, read chat. Jim. The only reason I found my error was because a couple of the ports in the computer room wouldn't give me more than 100 megabits. I had a couple wires switched in the connector. I have come across that. And not just when they were miswired, but when there was something like the wires were pinched or not in good condition, frayed, things like that. Yeah, I have seen a indication of 100 megabits and track that down. But thank you, Jim. I very much appreciate that. So then this conduit goes down. And
read chat, please.
Oops, I didn't take any other pictures because the conduit goes down to the ground, and then maybe about 20 feet to what I previously described as the right, back here, about this cement right here is probably about half the width of what that cement is, and the other building is off to the right. And I couldn't see any place where a conduit or wire is going into the other building. So there was nothing else to examine. Connect 4 wires would only be 100. Yeah, but they've got 6 wires. So what can happen then? I don't know if there's a legit way to do 6. 'Cause this thing was working. The front desk computer of recent months has had more problems than the back office computer. The back office computer, the person who uses that says it's pretty good. Sometimes if something's not working, you can restart. The router, that secondary router, he didn't mention restarting the Comcast router. But anyway, he seems to be able to futz with it a little bit and get it working as much as he needs. But he wasn't trying to go to the same sites as the bookkeeper at the front desk. I think that might have a lot to do with it. There's other possibility. Those 2 Ethernet cables coming from the Comcast router, is it possible that the back office computer was actually communicating with the Comcast router through a different long cable run than the front desk? That is possible, because there's still some unknowns about what wires goes where. Rand says 8 wires required for gigabit or more. Anything less is 100 megabits or worse. Okay. See, I thought 2 of those wires might have been reserved and it eventually became used for power over Ethernet. But I haven't looked into the details of that. But that's where you could have easily convinced me that 6 wires are used to accomplish gigabit and the other 2 wires is for power over Ethernet. RAN is essentially contradicting that there. I could go research it if I cared. I don't care. Wires 1, 2, 3, and 6. 3 and 6 is the middle 2 wires, and they would be blue, I think. And wires 1 and 2 would be a solid and a striped, I want to say orange. I'm not sure. I'd go back and look at a currently wired Ethernet RJ45 to remind myself. Yeah, wired chewed on somewhere. That was definitely something that I was looking for, and I have come across that before. Chewed on or some other kind of stress. Cat 5E being around 300 feet potentially had for signal use. Okay, how about if we have less than 5E? Because I'm sure this is the cheapest wire that he could find. Orange and green pair, typically used for 100. Okay, but those aren't normally the pairs put into that position for when you're using all 8, right? Or maybe that's the alternate, because I think the one that I usually wire up is blues in the middle. This one's hard to see, but yeah, it's blue solid, blue stripe in the middle. Yeah. Not really part of the story right now. Oh, I did that wrong. I was supposed to right click. Okay. 4-wire economy patch cable. And if you could put any colors on those points, except that the greens are a matched pair. They need to be on the same terminals. Oh, it's 4 and 5 in the middle. This is 3 and 6. 1 and 2, 3 and 6. I think I was thinking the wrong way when I described that earlier. They weren't middle. These are the first 2 pairs, and then these. Oh, okay. No, that's right. Then blues would be in the middle, and brown would be out here on 7 and 8. Yeah. So no, that's consistent with the way that I wire up in RJ45. Oh, here he is. Yeah, blue, solid and stripe, and then the greens sandwiching that. Oranges on the left and browns on the right. Get in there and fight, fight, fight. Somebody should make up a song for that. Okay, moving on. So here I'm back. At this point, I believe I have just the one of those 2 Ethernet cables at the Comcast router that did not interfere with my connection from my laptop. On this computer, you're seeing a 192.168.14 address as I think that's a static manual address. And I'm changing it to automatic. So you're seeing me change that there and save it. And then it comes up with a 10.0.0.6. And I think, oh, no, I thought I had this solved. I was expecting it to come up with a 10.1.10 something. So now I'm considering that this router is handing out the 10.0.0. And I'm considering these wires. What are they truly? This one that's coming into the WAN port, is that truly coming from the Comcast router? Because if it is, and this router is handing out the 10.0.0 addresses, their internet connection should work. If this is not coming from that Comcast router, and this router is handing out 10.0.0, then the communication, the computers would show that they're connected to a network, and indeed they are, but they're not getting through to the internet. So I removed that Ethernet cable that was connected to the WAN port. Oh, no, wait a minute. Let's go back here. Can we see these lights? Yeah, see right now, those lights aren't really informative to us because we can't see them lit. Here we seem to see them lit. And I'm thinking it's that second one there that's showing no internet connection. Shouldn't be now that I have it disconnected. And then I think I have connected that to my laptop, and I'm doing IP config renew. No, this is not my laptop. This is the front computer. I can tell by the dust. That has, and I'm pointing out here, I think this is when I noticed that it needs a restart. Shows that it's been up for 4 days. For those who don't know, if you bring up Task Manager, go to the CPU tab, look down here, you can see how long it's been since your computer has actually been restarted. If somebody does a shutdown on the computer and then press the power button to turn it back on, this number will not reset if you're using the default Windows of fast startup, I think they call it, because fast startup does not accomplish a restart. You'll still be showing accumulated time since the last true restart. Okay, now I have my laptop connected to the network switch. And on my laptop, I've got a 10.0.0.4. Unable to ping the 8.8. Here you see a lot of blur out because I use a blurring tool to get rid of a document that was there. So here I'm back at the back desk, and I believe here what I have is that Ethernet cable that was connected to the WAN port of that router, the secondary router, to see what I get. And I do not get network. I do not get network or internet connection. I've got nothing there, which I believe I wound up realizing that when this cable is connected to the WAN port of that router, there was no internet light. And I don't know where that cable goes to. And then I take another cable. I start just taking cables off of those different ports to see what I get. And with this white, beige, off-white cable, I get a network connection right there. And I get a 10.0.0.4. All right, is it going to go somewhere else? Is that my last picture? No. I should have looked at the picture number before I left that. Okay, I gotta come back here and see what picture I was on. Here. Oh, this doesn't show me the picture in the upper left corner. I don't get the picture number. I told you guys that you could look at that picture number and be able to find which one I'm on. It doesn't actually show there. All right, let's figure this out. Such a Doug. Yeah, here's more pictures. Now I gotta go back. I knew there was more. Yeah, okay, so here I'm on that beige wire. 10.0.0.4, and I am able to ping 8.8. That's working. And I'm thinking at this point it's working because I have that second Ethernet cable from the Comcast router disconnected at that Comcast router. And whatever's going on there is not interfering anymore. Notice the first reply shows a reply from 172.20.10.8. Ouch. Okay, so I let go of that because he started replying from 8.8, and I said, I'm not going to try to figure out what that one was. And then this picture got a little bit. Oh no, it's not. It's not wonky. Here's that desk on the left-hand side. The desk that I've been working from, and this is the wall on the right-hand side. This is another. This is not the router. This is another box that is not actually connected to anything. It's not powered on. I think it might be an old, their prior, maybe IP phones. It might have been a prior router. When I realized it was not turned on, I just never looked at it any further. But this is the beige cable that I was just showing you that I was connected to my laptop with. It's coming from that 100 megabit switch. The Netgear router that we've been looking at is off to the left of this picture. So when I started taking wires at random, this one was connected to one of the switch ports on the Netgear router. When I plugged this into my laptop, coming from that 100 megabit switch, my laptop had internet access. Like, what? Here's that beige wire. And then 3 other wires. It's a 10 to, I was trying to show the backside. There's the embossed lettering here that validates or verifies that it's 100 megabits, but you can't see that. And then here I've disconnected another one of the wires. And go back a couple steps. See, this was a gray wire. Apparently I've unplugged and then plug that into my laptop and see what I get. I've got network connection. I've got a 10.1.10.103 address. Well, that's what I want to see. I want to see an address handed out by the Comcast router. And I can ping 8.8. So I took that. I think this one right here, I kind of got this centered in the picture. This is that wire that I just had connected to my laptop. Now I'm connecting it to a switch port on the Netgear because that will deliver that communications to the rest of these Ethernet cables. Because I don't want the wire coming from the Comcast router to go to that 100 megabit switch and then to the rest of the network. Here I'm, let's see. I took that one out. This, I believe, is that cable. I was going back and forth there a little bit, trying to figure out which those were. It's a little bit weird. This image is also kind of corrupted to conceal stuff. So is this. I don't think we really care about this stuff at this point. And I think that is the last picture. Oh, I have to move the mouse for that name to show up in the upper left. 3794. Yeah, that is the last one. So my conclusion was by swapping those cables around, I don't remember right now if I put it into the WAN port on the Netgear or not. I don't think so, because I think at this point, the front computer has a 10.1 address and is fully functional on the internet. And I tested the sites that the bookkeeper needs. And this was at the end of the day. They were about to close the facility, so I couldn't take the extra time to answer everything. As I got moving along here, I was making choices and decisions to what I thought was going to give me the biggest bang for the minute and get the system working for them. So I had to change the static IP address on the printer and check the second computer to be sure that it was functional. It was not, because with all the connecting and disconnecting I had done, I had disconnected the back office computer. But anyway, when I got all finished, everything was up and working. And we'll planning to figure out the rest of it later, but that's not a hot issue because I have other more pressing priorities currently. If they're functional, I'm going to let it go. And we'll get back later and fix it completely. And label the wires. I wasn't even labeling them. And I knew that I'm going to have to go back and figure some of this out again. But I was short on time. Okay. Now, has anybody come up with questions in chat about issues that they're dealing with? I think I have some comments, channel comments to go look at if we don't have other issues, or I have some emails lined up too, but none of those are actual people asking questions about problems they're having. I have other stories too, but I'm not gonna take it down that road right now.
Read chat, please.
Read
chat, please.
Two of them. Regarding last week's topic, it seems Microsoft's assertion regarding SIDs was correct until recently. Yes, and if we're going to show that, I have to show also the one that is in video comments. I think this is the same document that when I was on Carrie's show, I reported that Adam had brought my attention to this same article. Now here he was telling me to search for it, and that was before I had made him a moderator. At this point, he was just a approved user. So then this morning I made him a moderator, and I sent an email to him saying, hey, see if you can post that link now. So I think this is the same link. Drag them both out here together. Yep. So yeah, Adam caught it on the very day that he caught it on October 21st, and then sent me an email about it the next morning. And I think Windows updates released on and after August 29th. Now, when I came across the problem with the client's computer, the computer had restarted and installed the September update, but that was in October. it was actually after the October 2nd Tuesday when my client encountered the problem. But updates released on or after August 29th. Okay, that September cumulative update would have been the first one because this was after the August cumulative update. All right, that makes sense. Included added security protections that enforce checks on SIDs, causing authentication to fail when devices have duplicate SIDs. Now, during last Saturday's show, I showed you the event viewer log when that failure occurred, and I told you that my attention was drawn to that because it said it had a line for something about SID not present, something null. I think it was null SID. And Copilot had said, no, that's normal. That's the way it'll normally be when a password fails. And I told you last Saturday, I might go back and test that. I did. I did go back and test it. Yes, indeed, the AI was correct. The way I tested it is from the client computer. I intentionally entered an incorrect password. Then I went and checked on the server and found that that is exactly the same event item that shows up where it says SID null or whatever it said. It's identically the same result. So the AI was correct when it said, no, that's not an indication of the problem. However, SID was the problem. This design change blocks authentication handshakes between such devices and doesn't give you much of a clue. It just says invalid credentials. The Microsoft way. If you try signing into a Microsoft account on a screen that is expecting a personal account and you put in account credentials that belong to a business account, you'll get a message saying invalid credentials. No, what it says then is the account doesn't exist. There is no such Microsoft account. Saying that email address does not exist as a Microsoft account. Yes, it does, as a business account, not as a personal account, or vice versa. Failed authentication requests related to these security protections are identified by local security authority server service event 6167. That might be the actual event ID that we were searching for. I don't know. Duplicate SIDs can be created when performing unsupported cloning or duplication of a Windows installation without running sysprep. And people had told me, you didn't run sysprep. That's the reason. I don't want to do sysprep. It's not a convenient way to do it for me. Doesn't accomplish my end objectives. SID uniqueness enabled by sysprep is required for OS duplication on Windows 11, such and such. After installing Windows updates and on and after. Yeah. So I would liken the method that I use with the SID change utility from whatever the name of that company is. I would liken that to using a utility that you use to make Windows installation USB devices. And I'm forgetting the name of that again. It's not just that I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't work. It doesn't serve the purpose for me because I don't want to do fresh install of Windows. I buy OEM computers that already have Windows installed. I don't want to reinstall Windows just to get around the local user issue. Rufus. Thank you, Adam. That's it. I like it when people help me out with names that I can't think of at the moment. So you get points for that. So on the rare occasion that I do a fresh install from install media, I just usually just go make a fresh media from Windows creation tool, media creation tool, and use whatever technique is currently around for bypassing local user. Or I don't even, if it's pro, my favorite way is to say that it's for a business and I'm going to connect to a domain server. It's just so quick and easy. Tim says, I'm having issues with Intel driver support assist. Oh, killer. Oh, get rid of that. Killer Performance Suite. My driver won't install. Completely uninstall all the killer stuff. Don't use it. Is that a Dell computer? Yeah, the killer network drivers from Dell, they just cause all kinds of problems, particularly if it's, well, I have that problem on at least one Dell computer that is current enough that we upgraded it to Windows 11 recently, but that's after having uninstalled all the killer elements. And yes, the new Dell computer. Oh, it's a new Dell. Yeah, I'd still get rid of all the killer. And hello, Lawn Dog. I don't recall saying hello to you earlier. I don't think your name showed up back then. Oh, he bought it. He bought it from Amazon a while ago. So the new Dell computer, as in his new Dell computer, that doesn't mean it's a new model. And maybe it was refurbished or something. I don't know if the new Dell computers still use that killer. When I first came across that, I thought, who came up with that idea to have a piece of software on a computer called killer? I mean, you might as well have a piece of software on the computer that comes from the manufacturer called hacker or hack this. Why would you do that? And Tim says, put the link, it's brand new computer not used. Okay. Bought it from Amazon. Does Dell sell directly on Amazon? Doesn't make any sense. What doesn't? That the killer software would be the source of your trouble? Oh, here's a link. Right click. Come on, Doug, do it correct. Gaming laptop. The shipper seller is Amazon. Customer service is Amazon. Let's go see if Dell sells that.
You read chat, please.
Let's see. Shop, search Dell.
Read chat, please.
Dell G16. All right, I'll go do the read chats before you get on me about it. Could be refurbished. Yeah, I bought a lot of name brand computers refurbished, but well, that should show up on the listing. I didn't specifically look for that. Zavi says killer is from Intel, not from Dell. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And Tim says, okay, understand and trust you guys. And John Williams could be refurbished. That's the two read chats. Is he giving us a search for, let's see, Dell G16 7630. Dell G16. That didn't confirm 7630, but G16 7630. Let's try it. Goes to Dell. I'm still not seeing G76. Is that really the same one? G16.
Read chat, please.
Oops. Yeah, not seeing that. That's not it. I was showing you the release date. This link is showing me a release date for your computer. Oh, okay. G16, 76. Yeah, see, if you just give me a link without any explanation of what I'm supposed to look at or pay attention to. January 2023. Yeah, so that's not new. I mean, that's not a new model. It
Read
might have
chat,
been
please.
in new condition when you got it. I see somebody saying no sound. Sound's working fine. It looks like. Looks to me that sounds working fine. Sounds frickin' fine? What? Yeah, sound is working. So Scott's got an issue. The new MSI motherboard I bought this spring for the PC I built my wife installed killer software. So it installed the killer software without you asking for it? Well, now I would uninstall the killer software if it's causing a problem. If you're having a problem. If you're not having a problem with the computer, I wouldn't bother with it myself. It might be fine. In the office that had the computer where we uninstalled the killer software because it was bringing the computer to its knees, there were 3 other computers in that office, the same make and model. I didn't even go look at them to see if they have the killer software. They probably do. I don't think it always misbehaves. There's some circumstances, I think, where it misbehaves. I don't know what it is. So I guess this is the link on Dell's website for his computer. Now this, let's see, G16 gaming lap. These are discover similar product. Oh, it's unavailable. Yeah. So no, Dell doesn't sell it anymore. So it's not a current model computer for Dell. Tim, I get amazing speed on gig over Ethernet, but I don't know if killer is on or off. I'm not sure want to connect to my laptop, Doug. I don't mind for a demonstration. Oh, all right. Shall we do that? Tim, there's a link in the description of this video to start a remote session with me. You can go ahead and click that. It'll take me a few seconds here to get my Log Me In Rescue fired up. I'm not sure if we're connecting to this for a particular problem. Let's see, he says he gets amazing speeds on gig over Ethernet. Doesn't know if killer is on or off. If it's on and your computer's working well, I would not disable it. Look at my specs, look whatever you want. Dennis, did you guys save the internet without me? If you're referring to the trouble that I was describing with a client, yes. Yeah, the word killer was probably just as it kills it. It's killer software. It's supposed to be a good thing. Yeah, I heard the ding here. Not the ding-a-ling, I heard the ding. It's different. Uh-oh. Looks like I got two people trying to come in. You might have a prompt on your screen right now if I've got the right one, Tim. Should have a prompt right now if I've got the right one. I'm not going to bring this on screen because I don't know if I'm opening the right one. If I got a troll trying to get on the show, you're not going to get on. Or it could have been that Tim tried twice. That's kind of what it's looking like. First time he tried it did not work. Okay. Tim, I want you to let me know in chat if you see me moving the mouse. I'm gonna let go of the mouse now and let you respond in chat. This is my two-factor authentication technique. Yeah. He says, yes, I do in the log me and rescue chat, but that doesn't count. I want to see it in the YouTube chat because the troll could answer that in the log me and rescue chat. There he is. Says, yes, I do see it. All right, now I'm looking at what we got on your screen. We're gonna have to, okay, he just minimized the YouTube show. And okay, yeah, here we go. Oh, you know what? Before we get with this, why don't we just throw him some points for letting us connect to his computer? Because that's always an interesting thing to do, even though he doesn't have an issue with his computer. Doug, you're so bad. Okay, so I'm maximizing in OBS. Bring my keyboard and mouse over here. 0 in chat if you think I'm going to mess up and use the wrong keyboard at some point during this time. 1 in chat if you think I'm going to perform correctly. And then, oh, I got to push this button. Okay, so here's Tim's computer. Here's me. Here I see some 1s and 0s. People showing some confidence. Yeah, that's looking pretty confident. They think I'm going to do this right. Maybe it's because I haven't been slurring my words too much yet. It is we're in the last half, almost. Oh, he's showing 228. That's a good. Wait, what? We're in serious overtime if it's 228. You can see that on your screen in the bottom right. So he's 2 hours ahead of me. It's 12:28 here. I've got a little over half an hour left. Got lots of icons on the desktop. How many people are squirming in their skin? And I don't see many shortcut arrows. Some, but I'm seeing folders indicating that maybe actually storing actual files on the desktop. Kind of puts a little extra strain on your computer to do that. Some files over here that we can't quite tell what they are. I don't want to go digging too deep down that road. Hello, Edward Bass. And let's go. We got Windows 11. Come look at system. 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's a graphics card there. Terabyte hard drive, 13th gen i9, 13900 specifically. Tim Dell PC is the name of the computer. We already knew it's a Dell laptop. Oh, this is Tim Cruise. Oh, he's got his name here as Tim Wardis. I didn't realize this is Tim Cruise. You didn't change it. You're doing different names. You know what? It's probably one of his accounts that I already know, but because we're doing that @ symbol thing, let's see, what is his other name for this channel? Oh, Tim Awadis Media. Oh, wait a minute. You've got a different picture. Oh, what are you doing? I'm not. Uh, I know I didn't show that on screen. That's not you in that, on that channel picture. See, this is Tim. This is our Tim Cruise. Unless I did something wrong there. But I think he's in a phony picture. 25H2. Windows 11 Home. And we can go straight to Device Manager from here. I don't know that I've ever done that. That was me clicking that option as a virgin. I don't think I've ever clicked on that method of getting to Device Manager. We got no errors in Device Manager. We've got a BC901 Hynix, SK Hynix, NVMe drive. And we have a SanDisk portable external drive, I would presume. NVIDIA RTX 4070 GPU in the laptop. Here's killer. So you do have the killer Ethernet controller, but that's not necessarily the killer software. I think what we want to uninstall when there's trouble is the actual killer software. So if we go appwiz.cpl, spell the letter P correctly. Here, this killer Ethernet performance drivers suite. I believe that's what needs to be uninstalled. And he says that he tried to uninstall it earlier, but it didn't work. Right up here. Oh, no, wait a minute. Tried to install it earlier. Install what? I want to know something why my NVIDIA driver isn't installing. Okay. Maybe because you don't need the NVIDIA driver you're trying to install. Here's the NVIDIA software. And the NVIDIA GeForce. So what is it that you're trying to install that won't install? I'll let you take the mouse if you can show us that. In chat, he says, that's my issue to do graphic card update. Okay, seeing game ready driver 581.57 and a download for it. I've got the mouse. $581.57. 581.57. That appears to be a very different range of driver version. If I'm looking at that at the right place, I'm not certain about that. Let's see. So you went over here, GeForce Experience, and it's saying available. Check for updates. So this is this app on his computer saying this driver is available for him. It may be a difference about game ready driver versus studio ready driver. It might be why the version numbers are different. Rick Lakes, if I understand him, he's trying to get the app to install the NVIDIA driver. That's what I'm deducing. Is there anything wrong with that, Rick? Let's see. I did check for updates. Did I see anything happen? I think that's just a very quick. So that is a collapse expand button. Currently installed. Oh, okay. This is showing. Yeah. So I was looking at the wrong place to see the driver. This currently version install is 581.32, and this one is available for him. This looks like a download button here, and this looks like a download button. So we'll try it. Let's see what happens. Okay, I see that, Rick. He agreed he is, and Tim says, yes, that's correct. Trying to install it with the app. Is there anything wrong with doing that? Seems to make sense. Tim says he tried that. It didn't work. So let's see what happens. Bottom left, driver download failed. All right, let's see what we have for free disk space. $111 GB. Plenty of space, not a huge percentage of his drive. And so how about, is there any other place to download that from, or any download options? If I click this down arrow over here, which, no, it looks like that's just an expand and collapse button, just like this arrow on the right. I wonder if Event Viewer gives us anything about that kind of a failure. Now let's do it this way. Windows key, Event Viewer. If people in chat have ideas on this, I'm welcome. Oh, Wintermute's given us a link that I suspect is going to be for downloading the driver outside of this application. I wonder if this application itself that we're trying to use
Read chat, please.
out of date. Check Londog remark, says John Williams. Oh, does he have any Microsoft updates that are pending? So we'll just go look at the system tray. There's no prompt there for restarting the computer. We'll go to I intend to go to the updates window and see what that shows us. Oh, there's some error messages at 2:25. Let's start this way. Double click.
Read chat, please.
And then go down to the next one. I'm not going to read them all out loud. I'm just looking to see if there's anything apparent to that issue. Kind of looking, there's some browser errors there. I wonder if that app was trying to use a browser for that somehow. Those recent read chats are check if the video GeForce app needs to be updated. Yeah, that's what I was saying about that. If the app was current, it found error. Yeah, I'm not certain that that's the right error. So to check on that, I think I got all the read chat messages. There were 2. Yeah, Lundog's remark. Got that. Okay, so to see if that
Read chat,
was
please.
actually this error, I'm going to come back here to the app and attempt to download that again. Oh, what's all those exclamation marks? Maybe they're just things that aren't installed. So let's go back. And I want to see if I try to download this again. Do we get a new error? Oh, this is 228 and it's now 241 on his computer. Let's do a refresh. No, I'm not seeing anything at 241. Application log. Nope. I clicked to sort them in date order because that doesn't always automatically sort perfectly. No, we're not getting anything relevant. Okay, let's check to see if the app needs to be updated. I would expect this app was going to be in your face about updating the application itself. Where do they do that? Automatically download driver license. Let me choose one to install. Where's available driver? Does somebody have guidance for where to check on the version of the NVIDIA application? I'm already in settings. Last check. Games application scan. Yeah, I know that I've seen I've been prompted for updates for that. I think it's pretty aggressive about that. Go back to AppWiz. GeForce Experience installed on 10/22. So that sounds like it got updated October 22nd. Okay, let's go to that link. Zavi Manor has a link for automatic driver updates, but I think somebody else did too. Let's see, where's there? Pop out chat and cover the video. Now let's maximize. That's easier than me trying to drag that window larger. Control plus to zoom it in. Wintermute's link and Zavi's link. This one, EN-IN, this is EN-US. I think we're probably going to want US. I'm not sure what IN is. Okay. NVIDIA app is the essential companion. So this is going to install the app. That's not the actual driver. We probably want to search for the specific driver.
Read chat, please.
Conflict between Windows Update drivers, Intel drivers. I see Intel Driver Assistant has updates available. Oh, yeah, sure enough down here. And let's also look at Windows updates. So either of those could be causing the issue. It would be better to get this figured out to where that application would be able to install the driver rather than doing a manual download and install. You're up to date. Last check today. Update history. October update installed on October 21st, a few days ago. And NVIDIA driver update successfully installed a few days ago. So is this another update? Does NVIDIA have multiple different drivers? One to mute speculating India for that IN. Yeah, that makes sense. Nothing there of concern. See if there's any optional updates. 0. Okay, I don't see anything amiss there. Okay, double click. Oh, this went to the website. One software update available. The killer in or performance suite. I'm not very eager about doing that. Okay, let's continue down this path then. There's a GE force. And I should have written down what one it was. That's not going to give it to me here. This should give it to me, right? Go to drivers.
Read chat, please.
Phil says there are many times the latest NVIDIA driver is not the best for a particular system being updated. Yeah. Now, I'm assuming, Tim, that you're just doing this because there's a driver available. Not that you're having a problem. What's the model of it? Oh, device manager. That's where I get that. And he says yes to, or Long Dog says yes to that. GeForce 4070 laptop. But the NVIDIA's, yeah, RTX 4070. RTX 40 series. Only one choice there. And then product RTX 4070. I think if it was TI or Super, we would have seen that. So I'm inclined RTX 4070. I don't think we saw those extra letters anywhere. Operating system, Windows 11. All right. Does anybody advise anything different there before I click Start Search? Wintermute says
Read
want
chat, please.
notebooks selection. You chose 40 series instead of 40 series for notebooks. Oh, did I? Oh, okay. Good catch. There's a reason why I have you here. You're earning your money. What? Doug's paying money? Now we got to go back and fix this again for 4070 laptop GPU. And then we got to fix the operating system. All right, are we good to go? Hello, Sam Lazar. Yeah, Rand points out it's probably the same driver. Because when we get to it, we might find what GPUs that this driver applies to, and it might apply to a whole range of drivers. Driver results. Studio driver, game ready driver, and we know Tim plays games. Well, he does YouTube too. So your video editing work would be, the studio driver would be more appropriate. If you're just interested in game optimizations, then you'd want the game ready. So here we have version numbers. This version number, let's see, I don't think I get an orange dot when I'm doing this with his mouse. No, I don't. Game ready driver, game ready driver, game ready driver. These are all the same title, but they're different version numbers. So this one up here is the most recent. The studio driver and the game ready driver have the same version number. I didn't make note of the driver that we failed to download. So I'm inclined to just go ahead and do this and get download for this second one on the screen. I'll give a chance for anyone to say something different in chat.
Why, certainly.
Rand says yes, ready to go. Wintermute says go. Go, go, go. So there's a click. This takes us to another screen. Oh, here's where we might see what models this applies to. I don't see that this is identifying what cards it applies to. So if you're to make other choices, you may wind up getting to this same exact file. How would you know? Well, if you have a different file size, that's a way to know that it's different. If you have the same file size, it still might be different. But my guess is it's all the same, because it doesn't make sense that they would make different drivers for all the different models if they didn't need to. Oh, he's got one of those downloaders apps. All right. I'm not a fan if you didn't guess. We've seen this before with Tim. So I clicked something. I'm sure I clicked on something to start the download. It just disappeared on me. Download complete. File saved as such and such so-and-so. So open the folder. Tim, should we go ahead and try to install it? Did it give us any installation instructions? It's usually just double click and go for it. All right, here we go. He said yes. Lawn Dog says we'll probably lose connection. I'm gonna bet against Lawn Dog.
Read chat, please.
So he says recommend that Tim cancel updates through Microsoft for the graphics card. And he's got a link regarding that. This is the thing when I'm looking at chat and reading chat out loud and then click on something. 3 seconds later, I say, wait a minute, what did I just click on? So then I decide, don't click anything else because maybe there's a pop-up window that I'm going to miss. I think on the taskbar, is there a new icon there? Oh, there. Do you see when I float my mouse over it? There's a dialog window waiting for me to click on something. So we're just going to sit here staring at it forever. Unless I click on that. Specify the folder where the driver files will be stored. Temp folder for the installation. Sure, that's all right. I'm intending to go to that link that Zavi provided that probably tells how to cancel graphics card updates from Microsoft. And it just seems to me that NVIDIA should have been able to manage that for the end user. Okay, we'll let that go ahead and keep running and come back to this link. Okay, right click, new tab, prevent device installation by ID. Okay.
Read chat,
You can
please.
prevent. Gemini, Google. Well, this looks like instructions for preventing installation by device ID, but is that a recommendation that this needs to be done? I wasn't aware that he's having a trouble with something trying to install that is failing to install. Okay, let's see what that read chat, please, was. Windows Home or Pro? Let's go find out. We'll agree and continue. Well, you know what? I'm going to do that. WinVer first. Home. That seems familiar. I think we looked at that earlier. Express or custom? I'm inclined to do express. Does anybody recommend for custom? Has the option for a clean install, but he's not having a problem. If he's having a problem, that would justify a clean install. Tim says he has a pro key. We don't have time now to do an upgrade to Windows 11 Pro, Tim. That takes too long. I've got less than a minute left. All right, so here we go with Express. We could do an upgrade to Pro on another Saturday. And Tim says, it's migrated on my laptop. Can we install a Microsoft 11 Pro? It's migrated on my laptop. If you've already used that Windows 11 Pro key for another computer, then no. He says digital key. If the computer has a digital key already for Pro, then yes, we can upgrade to it. Jim says, why? Why would you want to upgrade to Pro? Well, if there aren't other people that have content, Tim always likes to show off to us. He likes being in the spotlight. Removing previous version. And Tim says, just because, LOL. Yeah. There's certainly no hurry to do it. My interest in doing it just because it's another demonstration and it's another variation. See, if
Read
this
chat,
computer,
please.
if this computer already has a digital key, then the process is just a little bit different. Scott asked, how much free space was there again? It was around 100 gigabytes. I think it was over 100 gigabytes. Hello, Danielle Emberley. She says, feeling good here. Reclaimed. Whoops. That wasn't the wrong keyboard. That was having my mouse in the wrong position when I pressed Alt-2. Feeling good here. Reclaimed 12 terabytes of space on my Synology NAS by changing snapshot retention settings. Just finished it. Cool. Thank you for giving that report. And let's give Danielle some points. Giving us the happy news.
Read chat, please.
Scott says many graphics drivers are over 500 gig. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, it told us how large that file was. I didn't pay attention, but we already downloaded the file, but installing the driver might require more space. The actual file could be significantly smaller. And it may take a while. Tim, I think I'm probably not gonna keep the show going to finish this out. I think you're fine with finishing that off by yourself. Let me know if you're right, if I'm right. And Jim says games aren't that big. That's 500 gigabytes for a driver. Gigabyte or megabyte? Yeah, that's pretty big. I mean, some hard drives are only like 500 gigabytes total. Who said 500 gigabytes? Do we have any backup for that statement? Oh, many graphics drivers are over 500 gigabytes. Really? Yeah, that does seem really a little hard to buy. So let's go check. With my resident fact checker. Sounds like a misunderstanding or misreporting. Graphic drivers themselves are nowhere near 500 gigabytes.
Read chat, please.
Here's 500 megabytes to 1.5 gigabytes. Yeah, so I think it might have been a mistake of gigabytes versus megabytes.
Read chat, please.
Probably meant MB. Yeah, and he clarifies he meant MB. Parker, I just posted a link to a recommended tool that I've used. I'm not interested in going to some new comment after showtime's supposed to be over. Too late, Mark Parker. You got to do something like that earlier. And if you did it earlier without bringing my attention to it, then too bad, so sad. Okay. All right, I'll take a last look. And there's the graphics driver off and running. And I'm going to go ahead and shut things down. I'm going to end the remote session with Tim. He's fine with finishing that out, I'm sure. I'm not sure if he responded to my question about that, but oh well. I'm out of here. Okay, here's the email address. You can send a question by email, and I'll address it on a future session. I'm still intending to be going back to 6 days a week sometime down the road, but I've got to get clear of these Windows 11 new computer upgrades. That's a higher priority. And I miss the 6 days a week myself. So there you go. Have a great day, everybody. Good.
That's all, folks.
Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you dream. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part